Hi and welcome to my little review of the Orbi network router. I purchased this a few days ago just to replace basically a TP-Link a wireless modem router. And unfortunately that one got fried during an electrical storm, so I had to resort to my old wireless modem router, which is just there. Unfortunately with this one it was even less efficient than the TP-Link in relation to the distances that the wireless signal would flow through the many walls in my house, and also the sort of speed you get. Now in the past I had tried Ethernet over power, I tried access points, but every time I used those, again because of the size of the house and the distances, they were affected quite badly as well. So after a bit of research a few months ago, I'd read about the Orbi. They're fairly expensive, very expensive in Australia. The retail price is $750, which in relation to the US, you can get them over there for about $380, I think, US. So again, Australia suffers a fair bit in relation to the prices we pay for electrical equipment. I was able to get it on a discount. One of the stores was having a 15% discount, so I went off to Officeworks and was able to get that price beaten. So ended up paying about $590. Which in relation, if I went to buy a brand new wireless modem router, you'd be paying upwards of about $300 to $350 anyway. So I wanted to see how this would work. Secondly, with Officeworks, if I wasn't happy, I could take it back. Now, I'm not very good technically with modems and routers and networks and so on. I know a little bit about it, I can find my way around it, but I'm not advanced. So I wanted something that would be fairly easy to set up. Now the first thing I had to do was change this one, the Cisco, from a wireless router just to basically take the wireless signal off it so it wouldn't interfere with the Orbi. Now quite honestly that was very easy. So I saved a bit of money. I could use my old wireless modem router as now just a modem, and that's working absolutely fine. Connected up the Orbi and went through the setup process. Honestly, it was very, very easy to do. There was no problems at all. As you might have seen in other reviews, you've got these different sort of coloured lights that happen at the top of the router, and it will tell you what second signal it has in relation to the satellite. It will tell you whether it's linked into your network and so on, so it's quite easy. Now looking at the real world type positioning, mine is quite low in this room. It's on a table. And I did have my old my wireless modem router elevated, but I wanted to try and put it here in the corner where it's less obvious. Now to give you an idea of the distance between it and the satellite, if we go through here, you've got one wall, you've got the kitchen area, you've got the second wall here, a third wall, and the satellite sits here on this table. Now I positioned it here because on, say, the bottom floor of this house, this would be about the midway point. Now, with a traditional sort of setup before the Orbi, I was able to get a fair signal between here and where I positioned the wireless modem router because of the doorway. So I positioned along the open hallway and get a decent signal here. But once it went through this wall, you could literally forget the Wi-Fi signal through to those sort of areas and two more bedrooms down there. This is a two-story home, fairly large. I'm going to show you outside, just a quick video of the outside of the house to give you an idea of the distances that the Wi-Fi signal can travel now that the Orbi is in place. I positioned the satellite here, turned it on, it linked up, it gave me, I think it's a magenta color, which shows a very strong connection with the router. So from the distances between where it's positioned that we walked from to here, it linked up very, very strongly. Now, the one thing I can say about this that sort of blew me away was the fact that I could stand next to the router, do a speed test with my phone in that position right next to it. I could walk to this position of the satellite, do the same thing and get exactly the same speed. Then when I walked upstairs, at every position throughout the whole house, including the farthest position from where I positioned the Orbi, originally the router, you got exactly the same speed. Now to me, I would have been happy with an increase in distance travel with the Wi-Fi signal even if it was weak, particularly upstairs where there's various rooms that are used and so on. But what blew me away was in fact it was the same speed signal. Now overall, the other thing that's been improved is the fact that no matter how many types of devices are linked now into this system, it handles them all, no problems at all. So I was quite impressed with it. It was better than I thought it would be. It costs a fair bit, but if you had the problems that I have, that you really can't cable a house because this one's an older type of style, and with the roof with the way the roof is set up and the first floor and the ground floor, it makes it impossible. So anyway, I'm going to take the video recorder outside and just give you a real-world showing of the sort of distances that the signal can travel with just 2 of these Orbis in place in a very, very large home. Yeah, hi. Now I'm standing outside my home. Sorry about any wind noise and so on. You're going to get that outside. It's a little bit breezy today. But this is primarily just to show the distances that the signal travels from the router. Now if I bring it back, that's the position the router's in that section of the house. And if we look at the whole length of the house, you've got really a very, very long distance for this Wi-Fi signal to travel. Now, I think between the position where the router is and the satellite, which the router is in this room here, the satellite is in this room here, what you've got is a total strong signal right through the whole house. So that is from this section, if I was standing in the end room here, right to the other section, which might be separated by at least maybe, I would think, 10 walls or more. The signal is penetrating all the way to that balcony. And as I said before, the major thing about it which surprised me was no loss of speed as far as that signal. So even there was exactly the same speed that I could get as far as wireless signal as if I was standing in the same room with the router. Now coming back to where I'm standing now, you can see the distances of where I'm standing on this deck. And in fact, even standing here and taking a speed test of the Wi-Fi signal, I'm getting exactly the same speeds. And that means on my deck out here for the first time, I can rely on my music coming through my system for the first time. And in fact, an unbroken amount of music can now be played on this deck, which is absolutely fantastic. So anyway, that's the end of my review for the Orbi. I hope it's been worthwhile. If you're suffering with the same sort of problems I have in the past, it's extremely worthwhile to purchase it and have a go with it. Thanks very much. That's Stu's View. Bye.